Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June edition of the Finance and Infrastructure Standing Committee. Action-packed agenda as usual. So thank you to our committee members who are present. I would also just like to advise I've had a message from Councillor Daniels, and she is just going to be about 10 minutes late, so we can expect her today. Welcome to all the ELT and Lisa, of course, who's always doing a great job of recording the minutes here. And a special hello to and a welcome to all our live streamers. So we do have everyone present, but as I said, Councillor Daniels will be joining us. We don't have any apologies. Councillors, do we have anyone that needs a leave of absence for our July meeting? All good? Confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. They are there on the 14th of May. We had the only real decision there was around Australia, I think so. We had some discussion about flood totems, the draft Queensland transport strategy, the second main north-south highway initiative, and I'll tell you more on that. And some information reports from customer commercial services and infrastructure and utilities, and a couple of closed session items there. So, councillors, would someone that was present at that meeting like to move and receive those meeting minutes? Move Councillor Brimham, second Councillor Roth, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. Is there any business arising out of those minutes? Councillor Roth, are you right? No, no IT. But anyway. No comments. Do you want my iPad?
No, that's right.
You sure? Cope. You just feel your way through this?
Yeah.
Any business arising? I think I just listed all the things that was on the agenda. I'm not sure. Was Councillor Daniels going to be able to attend that Saturday? Yes. Right. It's just a bit tentative. If there's no business arising out of minutes, I'll just jump to the review of the outstanding meeting actions. Not a real big list there. Most of it's completed, which is awesome. And just one there in relation to the departmental update, which is, has been updated. That's the helicopter landing facilities at Springshire and Rolleston, and obviously they will be a budget item for consideration. So, any questions in relation to that, councillors? No. The review of the upcoming agenda items is always very interactive, this one. Councillors, has anyone got anything extra that they'd like to add to that list? Or, you know, you're happy with the order that's been presented there?
Just, is that totem pole coming back to us?
Through the chair, councillors, there's a review of the designs. There's a much more simplistic one now, and the suggestion was we'll probably put it out to the community this time as well. So it's just a couple of vertical posts and benches. I can circulate it out to the councillors for comment. But yeah, no, I think the aspirational stuff was maybe a bit too far out there now. Recycled bridge timbers is probably what we're going to get now, which sits well with me. Bring a bit of heritage back into the. But I'll circulate that up. But I don't know. Do councillors want to see it back in here, or are you happy by this? It's going to go out on AUSA as well.
Yeah. I think we can have our say when we see it on that say. No, it's good that it's going to the community, Joe. And soon by the sound. That's good. So any other questions, queries, comments in relation to those upcoming agenda items? Councillor Broadcombe, you're happy? Material personal interest, conflict of interest and personal gifts and benefits. Councillors, anything to declare? No. Decision action reports. We have customer commercial services. First up, the Australian Airports Association National Conference on the Gold Coast. Michelle, I'll hand over to you.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So regularly, councillors, we bring to you the information about the Australian Airports Association National Conference, as indicated by the Chair, to be held on The Gold Coast, this year between the 19th and 22nd of November. The program for the conference is included within Council's agenda. We have brought this report to Council early in view to Council's wish to attend. That we take the opportunity of the early bird discount, which closes on the 31st of July. It is noted within the report that the manager, Airport, will be attending the conference. He's also undertaking 2 presentations while he is at the conference on behalf of Council. And expectation is that there will be a report that will come back to Council in any case in regards to the conference attendance to advise you. The report outlines the cost per participant is estimated around just over $4,500. So the recommendation there is to endorse Council's to be named should Council wish to attend that conference.
Thank you, Michelle. I just also noted in the budget there that there wasn't any allowance in the 1920 budget for councillors to attend that conference. So I note we're getting probably close to maxing that out, but anyway, councillors over to you for discussion on this one.
And sorry, just through the chair, I would think that the cost should be incurred in the new budget in case. The discount doesn't close to the 31st of July, so there's no need to hurry that. The current financial year can be provided in next, but as you say, there is no provision in the next budget specifically for this conference.
No, and I did wonder whether it would fall into, given the timing of this conference, which budget it would fall within.
Well, the accrual accounting, it should be accrued in the new financial year.
I think they're very valuable to attend. I wouldn't be going, but I really think that they are really worthwhile. There's a lot to be learned from those conferences. But I'm be going myself, but I don't know whether the mayor would like to attend.
Thanks, Councillor Nixon. Look, I think that runs concurrently with the National Roads Conference in South Australia this year, which I think I'd certainly like to attend it, I think, at this stage. So I agree with Councillor Nixon. I think it is very valuable. I know Solomon is going and obviously attending on their behalf as the manager. I guess if there's other councillors happy to go. I think Councillor McIndoe's on the Airport Advisory Committee.
Did we send anyone last time, Michelle?
No, due to the cost. Council determined not to.
So, I think if anyone does attend, it's probably
Roads Conference.
probably good to, just, council members, you're on that committee,
No, I'm on there.
Oh, you're not on the air?
No. Just Councillor McIndoe and Councillor Nixon and myself. So Councillor McIndoe, if you want to offer the opportunity to
Offer it to.
Well, councillors, are we happy to endorse Councillor McIndoe as a delegate, subject to confirmation with himself as to his availability?
Yeah.
And in the absence, or in the event that he's unable to attend, that we just rely on Solomon to be our representative. And provide a report back. But I think Alan certainly appreciate that opportunity. So Councillor Roth, would you move? You're going to move that, and Councillor Nixon second that. All in favour of that resolution? Thank you. That is carried. That's the short and sharp one, Michelle. We move straight into information reports, and first up again we've got customer and commercial services. Councillor Roth. Councillor Nixon. Second, Councillor Nixon.
Is there
subject to his availability, as I say. Subject to availability. Sorry. No, it's fine. All right, that's all tidied up. So we'll move into the information reports, and as I said, customer and commercial services are first up. So we've got three items there for discussion, so I'll hand over in relation to the Emerald Airport Advisory Committee meeting minutes from the 17th of April. Michelle?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'll hand it to Solomon Coppers to discuss with Council the Airport Advisory Committee, as I wasn't in attendance for that particular meeting. So over to you, Solomon, to provide an update, please.
Morning, councillors. We have actually had two airport advisory committee meetings in the meantime. So, of course, one from the 17th of April. The minutes of that has been confirmed in the latest one, which occurred on the 3rd of June. Those minutes are now confirmed, even though there is a standing agenda item for the airport advisory committee. It's always interesting what types of new issues are raised. I'll take the main minutes as read. I'll just maybe highlight a few things. The airport is on track with its costs as well as its income. Earlier in the year there was a reduction in the amount of car parking that was taken up by passengers. That is slowly coming back. So that is a good thing, and no doubt, in part at least, as a result of the free time that was adjusted by council. So that's having the desired outcome, I'd say. We always talk about projects and upcoming projects. Of course, two current items of discussion. One is the cross runway, 1543 runway. The other is security. With regards to security, as everyone knows, we have to implement additional security measures at the end of next year. And there's been a lot of planning around that, not just the machines themselves, but how we operate the machines and the impact that will have on people as well as the space and the building and things around it. The other one, of course, as I noted, the cross runway. In the meantime, what's happened is we've had the consultation a couple of months back, as requested by council. We've had additional interaction with CASA, and to the point where we are intending to actually bring an item at the end of this month to council, just another update on where we are, what has happened, and some suggestions for council's consideration and decision making going forward. I think maybe what I should do is, if there's any questions I can maybe address, then I'll sort of just end up talking about the minutes.
Councillors, any questions? Solomon, in relation to the big data conversation, and you were saying it could be $15,000 a month on that package, like, have you investigated the other options?
We're busy discussing with it, but I must admit that the vendor's business model is one of a subscription service. The committee thinks, and I'm also of the view, that if council has a complete holistic approach, say with regards to a wider tourism discussion, perhaps approach Telstra or the vendor data vendor, then there's probably value in paying that sort of money for a year to get a stream of data from them. How many people are passing through town? Where are they coming from? How long are they staying? Just for the airports to get all of that for a little small chunk of that is probably not worthwhile. The vendor is, because it's their business model, they're not looking to sell on cheap, just a spreadsheet with a couple of columns. They're looking to, of course, make the most of their efforts. So it is something that's of ongoing discussion at the advisory committee, but perhaps something of interest to the wider organisation.
Okay. Solomon, through the chair, with regards to the master planning, do you know if you consultants have engaged with CHDC regarding the tourism aspects of master planning?
Yes, they've had discussions with CHDC in person. I've been there when they had it in person, but I know also offline, they were talking to the tourism people there.
Okay.
We've actually had a first draft, and we went back to them with some helpful hints, useful tips. We are waiting currently the second draft, hopefully to arrive very soon, at which time we'll engage council in the strategy meeting.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
No worries.
Any other questions, councillors? Solomon, I'd like to say congratulations to you two on being selected to represent our council at the Australian Airports Association conference. And yeah, you've got the two speaking gigs there, and one I see in relation to effective regional airport project delivery, so that's pretty awesome, and the other one, planning your airport for the boom and bust cycles, learning from a fly and fly out port for your airport. So yeah, I wanted to say thank you very much
Thank you.
for representing our council in that conversation at that very important conference. I'm sure you do an awesome job. And in the absence, and obviously with the Second City Council, Mackenzie can join you there, but
Yes.
if he's unable to, I'm sure you'll do a great job and bring back some information to us in relation to what you learned there.
Thanks, no, it's all been made possible by Michelle, so.
Thank you, Michelle. No, that's good. No, if there's no more questions in relation to that, we will relieve you there, Solomon. Sorry. Yeah. All right, councillors. So the recommendation is there that we receive the minutes of the Emerald Airport Advisory Committee held on the 17th of April. So would somebody like to move that? Councillor Drumcombe, second Councillor Nixon, all in favour? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Solomon. The next item from Customer and Commercial Services, the Emerald Sale Yards Coordination Committee meeting minutes on the 22nd of May. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So, Council said the minutes from the Sale Yards Coordination Committee meeting, which was held on the 22nd of May. Councillors Rolfe, Daniels and Nixon were in attendance, so they might like to pick up anything that I missed for them in regards to an update in regards to that meeting. So there was good attendance at the meeting. The business from minutes, there was a matter in regards to where the new livestock exchange program, they were looking to extract some data out of that system to assist us with some mapping in regards to where cattle come to our marketplace, and I'm pleased to say that that we've in recent time actually this week extracted about 6 years of data, and that will give us some information to assist with marketing and mapping of where cattle are moving to our marketplace, etc., so that's a good thing. The Sale Yards manager is also having conversations, if he hasn't already. There's an intent to have conversations with our infrastructure department in regards to dump ramp, which we've had to decommission at the Sale Yard, so there needs to be consideration in regards to where that may be relocated for community benefit within the Emerald area, so some discussions need to occur in that regard. We also did discuss with the committee that we'd held a meeting on the 10th of April with Emerald Livestock selling agents and also their contractor in regards to safety at the sale yards, and that's ongoing work that we continue to assist agents and their contractor in regards to those matters to improve safety wherever we possibly can at the sale yard. So we did discuss about an incident that we'd had in regards to a beast that had escaped, and one of our rangers who were at the truck wash at the time, who was assisting to corral that beast, was hurt, so we also discussed that safety issue. We also thank Works for Queensland, so there's another $80,000 that's been provided in the latest funding rounds for some additional concreting at the sale yards, and I'm quite sure that the manager will have that work completed very soon in regards to that additional spend. And that again just continues to help with the efficiency of the sale yards. particularly in regards to cleaning and those matters as well. We also spoke about stakeholders engagement meeting. We've been having one of those annually, and we're planning to hold the next one on the 22nd of July. And possible agenda items to be discussed at that will be, we'll invite Rachel O'Brien from Biosecurity Australia. We'll look at the financial budget, 1920 budget, and matters that will be addressed at the Saleyards. We'll look at Saleyards business plan and marketing. There'll be provision for an agent session. We'll probably seek an update also on chain of responsibility. And invite Grant Parker, local NDIS tagging and biosecurity registration as another possible agenda item. Operational matters, Saleyards managers have noted an increase in dipping by third-party certifiers at the yards. That's due to cattle heading west and cattle heading to the southern feedlots as well. He provided an update on the capital projects, which is not anything different to what councillors have already heard in previous presentations to council in regards to the performance of the Saleyards. We also spoke within general business in regards to, council has invested significant money as well as grant and funding opportunities in regards to we continue to improve the infrastructure at the facility. So what is the next major thing that we undertake? And that's probably shade, significant provision of additional shade at the facility. We also spoke about fencing and drainage, and certainly Councillor Rob raised about the drainage at the facility, and that's something that we need to look at, and that's work that we will start to investigate and bring together a plan in regards to what might need to be done, costing, etc., etc. As well as fencing at the facility. So with the beast escaping of recent time as well, and Jermaine, in my time, aware, there was an occasion where we had eight cattle escape the facility, which, Jermaine, you can imagine the impact that may cause out onto the highway or other areas where they can go. That we'll also investigate fencing at the facility, so that when we say that, what we think in that regard is, just a cattle fence across the fence, but also some grids that can contain and not allow cattle to get out into the main roads and what have you as well. So what we'll do is we'll just plan and scope that work, get some cost estimates, etc., and get those things as best as we can shovel ready for grant opportunities as well that can be progressed within that area. We also spoke about that's important that the Saleyards is considered in the review of the drought management plan. We are a facility that does need dust suppression for environmental compliance and matters, and even though we're using raw water now at that facility, so it's important that we have a consideration in regards to that. And we also experienced some additional build-up of algae due to the use of raw water within the troughs that are north facing as well. So the manager is dealing with that at this present time. So hopefully that covers the discussions at the meeting, but the councillors might have something else that they wish to add.
Very good, thanks, Michelle. Councillor
Yeah,
Rob?
Chair, the only thing I would add is that people always ask about expansion of the Saleyards and where would you go and this sort of thing. And in discussion with the manager out there the other day at the meeting, we possibly don't need to expand the yard so much as have a second sale in the week. So when you look at places like Roma Saleyards, it's extraordinarily large, but they do have 7,000 head at a sale, but they've added more, and the agents are saying that to get from one end of the yard to the other, you've got to get in your car, go around. It's really getting to a stage where it's nearly impossible to just compact sales. So running 2 sales a week here makes sense if it comes to that. But we are still averaging the 100,000 head a year, and who knows what's in the future, but you have to plan for it.
Yeah, that's right.
And just through the chair, just like to mention that day, 22nd of July, we do have 2 other meetings already planned on that day, the Council Game Plan and Community Planning. So I'm just wondering whether there's an option to change at all, if no invitations have gone out as yet, or
Thank you, Councillor. We're only in the planning phase anyway, so there wouldn't, in defining that date, I couldn't imagine there was any checking of the corporate calendar. So we'll liaise with yourselves and come up with a suitable date.
Thanks very much, Councillor.
so chairs, we have to.
Councillor Daniels, anything you wanted to add either in relation to that committee minutes?
No, I've got my tissues as well. No, really, the question I think is, I have around the cattle leaving the arms is really, have we looked at our processes and investigated why that's occurred?
I understand, yes.
Yeah.
That did occur. Not council staff, it was somebody else unloading cattle on escape, but the rangers then just, I suppose, went into automatic pilot to assist. So, yes, when there is an incident, council, certainly if there's an incident, it is investigated and we will rectify where we possibly can anything that may have caused that incident, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Councillor Daniels, would you like my device if you have an operational device?
Well, it's more just tax not working, so I'm not sure.
If that helps you, I was going to say.
Thank you.
So I haven't got a copy.
I can't access my notes.
Or, you can actually give me my laptop if you like, that's all right.
Where did we roll? Don't be worried, it does all the time. So how's everyone else going? Councillor Brimacombe, are you there?
I work with them. I have to,
So you're right?
on tap, so,
It's just you, Councillor Roll.
no.
Yeah, and I'm using my memory.
Oh, no, it is difficult though, when we're trying to run a meeting and the IT's.
Do you have email Councillor, because I can email you the PDFs, I'll work with you.
What am I following that for us? All right, councillors, if there's no more questions in relation to that particular agenda item, the recommendation is that we just receive the minutes of the Emerald Salary Coordination Committee called on the 22nd of May. Is anyone happy to move that? Move Councillor Roll, seconded Councillor Daniels, all in favour? That is carried. Thank you very much. And moving right along again, Customer and Commercial Services departmental update. We will hear updates in relation to the airport, the quarries and the sale yards. And I will hand over to you, Michelle, to step us
Thanks,
through that.
Madam Chair. I've asked the manager to remain there, so I'll invite him to speak to his airport update. We won't let him off the hook too easily.
Start with car parking. As we've reported before, our car parking system remains high maintenance. We're working through it. Currently, we're trying to get frustration levels around that for the users as little as possible. Mostly we are achieving that. Our numbers are, the car park numbers, as I've reported in my earlier report this morning, slowly coming back. We do have a plan for the car parking, and that's part of the budget for next year, the budget requests. With regards to security, we've dealt with all the security audit findings we've had, and there's no processes and procedures in place. In fact, we've asked the Department of Home Affairs to come and visit us again at the date of their choosing, and to just make sure that we are to test our system again. We will of course keep council informed as to how that goes when that happens. The master plan, and as I reported earlier, we've had a draft one and we went back to them on that. We're expecting imminently another draft. That draft hopefully will be of sufficient substance and quality that we can circulate it wider. council is definitely to be consulted. That will happen in the upcoming strategy meeting. Then with regards to capital projects, the runway overlay, so Project Denison, that's on track and within budget. We have an item later today to council for an endorsement. Around that, 2 endorsements in fact. The General Aviation Apron project, that is currently out to RFP, imminently to be closed and brought to council in the not too distant future. That's on track too. The Gardens entrance statements, the work for Queensland, most of the work except the plants that we're waiting for have been done, so that's within budget too, and even though the plants, some of the plants may not make the end of the year, the project substantially is completed. The airport, the Air Hub project, we continuously to work with Vertigan and making sure and facilitating where we can workings between her and GHD, the master plan, provided that from a land use planning point of view, we make sure that the spaces are available should council decide to take that up at some point in the future. The resurfacing of Ralston and Springshire, that's completed. We opened those 2 aerodromes on the weekend. As always, there's a small snag list that we are busy working through, but basically those projects are now completed and the runways are open there. So I've put in a few photos because it's difficult, I can imagine, to imagine what these sorts of works look like. So we took a couple of photos of trucks and rollers and things out there, on mostly Ralston, although 1 or 2 of the pictures are of Springshire too. But that hopefully will give kind of a flavour of what we're talking about. And I'll just quickly touch on financials. As I noted earlier, our operating revenue is about 1% shy of budget. The expenses are just about on budget. And the passenger numbers look like they might be slightly down on last year, although it's difficult to say at this point because it seems as if the seasonality in our numbers are moving around a bit. That could be due to a number of things, such as maybe a mine doing a shut a month later or earlier. So until we know, we won't know. We'll definitely keep council informed as to how we go with that. As I noted earlier, the parking numbers are seeming to be coming back, and the capital expenditure reported there as just in excess of 85% done. Since writing the report, that has increased now significantly, with the Ralston works being done, the Springshire works being done, and effectively the entrance project being just about complete. Questions? If there's any questions, happy to.
So Solomon, in relation to the Springshire and Ralston aerodrome resurfacing works, no issues in relation to community interruption, like the information that went out seemed to be well received, but there was no issues?
No, we weren't aware of any issues. We did have to work with the community. As an example, there was a funeral in Ralston, and we worked with the provider that they switch their trucks off and make the steam stop coming out and shoveling dirt for the duration of that, and only once people have departed, they started up again. We had a few people that wanted to come land at Springshire, and we could assist them to find other spots. There was a helicopter that landed there that we could facilitate because the runway was closed, the ad wasn't. So, yes, so it worked well.
Very good. Councillors, any other questions of Solomon in relation to that update? It's very good.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'll continue on then with, thanks, Simon. The Porrie councillors, I'll take the report as read, but you'll see there some graphs for you in regards to Porrie performance, and we certainly will exceed our budgeted total of tonnes for the 18-19 financial year, which I think is a great credit to the very small team that operate at the Porrie, and led by Joe Newman, have done an excellent job. Also, under that leadership, the external customer base is continuing to grow and is diversifying as well, which shows you, councillors, in the graph in regards to internal and external customers. The financial performance is as documented within the report. Happy to take any questions in that regard. Capital expenditure is on track with 93% of the budget spent. And in regards to efficiencies of the business, we have engaged a consultant to prepare strategic business plans for Airport, Porrie and Sale Yards. That work is nearly complete, and we will hope to have that reported to council, hopefully probably in the month of July, to councillors. So that is good. That information will also include within their key performance indicators and measures for the businesses as well. You may recall that that's one of the CEO's deliverables, so that work is on track as well. And also we've undertaken some with the Toto project and integration of the AWS system. That's the system we use for the Weybridge. We've needed to upgrade that software. That has occurred, all that work has happened, and that is all in readiness for when we move over in regards to Technology One software. So happy to take any questions in regards to the Porrie, if there are any councillors.
Just a comment, and I know we spoke about this prior to the meeting, Michelle, and that is, it's good to see this, the detail, and particularly internal, external customer base. Like, I think, as we discussed, sometimes I think there's a perception that the majority of the revenue that's generated by the quarry is supported by internal, and it's good to see that it's certainly not the case, and there's a really healthy external base that supports revenue there at the quarry. So, and councillors, just another thing you might have noticed, the financials are contained within this section. We are generally used to seeing that in the closed section, and that's, as Michelle explains, that is the direction of the CEO at this point. But if you have any feedback in relation to that arrangement, please let us know.
So moving on then, councillors, to the Sale Yards. So within the report, we speak about the month of 4,245 plus cattle, plus around 800 head of private way cattle. The total sales for the month contributed 3.9 million to the local economy, which is always find it really good to see that figure about the dollar rate that contributes to the local economy just within that cattle transactions. The report outlines there for you in regards to the capital projects, and they're certainly on track as we would expect for the Sale Yards. Capital expenditure remains on track with 92% of the budget spent or committed. And then also the manager's been working with GBA consultants who've been briefed now in regards to the Spelling Paddock project, and the first process is now underway and approaching horizon for Wayleave over the rail corridor, and also they'll be progressing with the pig lodgement meeting in regards to that matter as well. So those projects certainly underway, so happy to take any questions if there are any councillors in regards to the Sale Yard information.
Just a comment, Chair, that the manager also has said that there's been more cattle going west again. Usually our Sale Yards is cattle coming from the west, and but now there's a lot of cattle going back out for restocking. A lot of them also are donated cattle. Comment.
Thank you. So moving on to property services, and you can see from that report that small small team also been very busy. So routine inspections have occurred with Springshore community tenants. They've also commenced, which I think is a great initiative, where they're having morning tea with our community tenants. And that was commenced at Anahe and Sapphire. Just to go out and meet and greet and talk to them about any maintenance needs or those things that they have. But I think that's a good connection with our tenants in that regard. We're also in the process of conducting community tenancy inspections in the month of June at Capella. And they're also scoping and requesting quotes for contractors to undertake planned and reactive maintenance ahead of the game for 1920 already, so that's a good thing. You'll see within the report for you there, councillors, the capital expenditure on housing upgrades. We're a little bit late within the financial year of doing that. That was specific in regards to we wanted to ensure that the limited money we had was spent well and not just spent on whatever was next on the list. And that we're not over-capitalising potentially on assets that we may flag in time to you to dispose of. So that's been very deliberate in that regard. We've also progressed with the appointment of local legal firm to undertake the conveyance work for the Nagoa Rise estate. We've progressed also, and hopefully the Mayor will be pleased to hear this, to land tenure matter at comment for Janet Lucas. So that certainly is well underway and progressing to a conclusion for her in regards to land tenure. They've been progressing in regards to an occupation of the industrial shed at 2 Pioneer Capella. That property is now being vacated, and they're working through whether there is a need for our own internal needs or whether the Pioneer Village may have a use of this shed. I know the Pioneer Village have indicated that they do, but we need to check internally first in regards to our own internal needs. They've also been working in regards to the Ruby Vale tip term lease renewal. They're still progressing on with the adjustment project, which is bigger than her, but getting there. You'll see in the report some other matters that they're dealing with. I'm pleased also, following the Capella consultation, that they've been working very closely with the Peak Downs Pony Club and resolving those issues for them as well. And dealing with the ongoing property matters, which councillors will be aware, is in regards to land in New Street, the Queensland Police land, and also the lease assignment for the Blackwater Miners Club. So happy to take any questions, councillors, if there are any.
I want to say, property services has been a really busy month, hasn't it?
Very good team and under very good leadership, and certainly kicking some goals.
Yeah, no, it's great to see the detail in this report, Michelle. It does give us a lot of confidence that things are, as a result of the great team in place, are really starting to move there. So, councillors, any questions in relation to those matters? Michelle, that Blackwater Miners Club, that lease expiring on the 31st of July, that's rapidly approaching. Do you anticipate any issues there? Or?
I'm not across the matter myself, Madam Chair, but I'll have a chat with the coordinator and I'll provide any additional. Oh, Peter, you're putting your hand up from the gallery. You might have already heard me.
Through the chair, we had thought the lease had gone through probably like 6 months ago, and then came to a property that had happened. So I have paid the outstanding lease amount and paid the lease application fee last week.
Oh, so that should all, yeah. All right, thank you very much, Peter, for that update. Councillors, any other questions there? Michelle, on to you.
No, nothing to add in regards to my activities. You know where most of my time's spent.
Number one. Dot point number one. No, but that's all there, councillors, unless you have any queries. No, well, the recommendation is there before you, and that is that We received all of those departmental reports. Is anyone happy to move? Councillor Roll, seconded. Councillor Nixon, all in favour? That is carried. And yeah, a big thanks, Michelle. It's once again very informative and great information there and a lot of good work happening. Thank you. Councillors, would you believe that brings us to mop and bucket to Councillor Roll?
All three.
I'm going to get on the microphone now. All electrical devices intact there, Councillor Roll?
Sorry?
We've got all electrical devices intact?
Yeah, no, we've taken it out of the flood zone, it's right.
All right, mop and bucket coming. All right, just while we're, congratulations, Councillor Roll, on containing yourself and minimising the use of expletives there, but that's well done. While that's being sorted, we'll get the infrastructure and utilities team to mobilise.
Just wanted to do
It's all good. All right, so our last open session item is an update on infrastructure and utilities. I'll hand over to you, Gerard.
Thanks, Madam Chair, councillors. I will hand over to the individual managers to present their overall departmental updates and just give us the high points. There's not a lot in there, but I'll start off with infrastructure.
It's quality, not quantity.
That's right. Quality team and quality information.
Thank you, through the chair. We'll start with infrastructure. First off the list here. Monthly CapEx update. So from the infrastructure department point of view, our CapEx is travelling relatively well. We are on track to complete all bar one project, which is Radley Road. So Radley Road off the Fairfield Road. Very complex design issue. There's that jump up. There's some scarring of an existing road there. So that's probably the only one that's at risk at the moment out of the 120 odd projects that we had to deliver through the year. So just to put that on the table, that wasn't mentioned in this update at that particular time. We were still hoping we could engage a contractor to have that completed, but since then it's obviously very difficult to procure. General update on a few projects there. I'm still progressing on Fairbairn Dam Road, which is going well. We commenced that contract with the CQ Inland Port Road, so that's an internal road that we are delivering as well. Generally everything else is on track, and a few projects that are listed have been completed recently. I'll move on to the tenders for the passing lanes. So this sort of links back to TMR, Transport Main Roads pre-qualification. So contractors and council have the ability to be pre-qualified as a TMR contractor. So basically pre-qualification means you have the ability to tender on open market projects with Transport Main Roads. We had an opportunity probably 6 months ago to seek pre-qualification. At that point in time, I decided not to go down that path, given the Q-Trip for the next 5 years had very limited projects or very limited opportunities for council to tender on any open market projects. It's definitely within our shire, and I don't think we have any at this point in time any desire to work outside our shire just yet, but that may be in the future. It would have taken a lot of, I guess, resources and time to seek that pre-qualification. At that point in time, as I said, with very little reward for doing that. But that doesn't mean that in the future we won't go down that path. Probably with the announcement of the $40 million on Springshire Tambo, it might be a timely point to revisit that decision and investigate those options again. Should that be put out to an open market tender, I think we would like to be in a position where we could apply for those projects. So moving forward, it's probably something.
Do we need pre-qualification to do design and to do the designer's code?
Through the chair, so no, not in the solar. So the majority of our projects, or all our projects that we do for TMR, are either through the RMPC or through a sole invitee status, where we don't need to be pre-qualified. It's only when they put it out to open market, an open market tender, when we need to be pre-qualified. As you can see, there's only 8 councils that are currently pre-qualified in Queensland. But as I said, you know, with other opportunities that may be on the near horizon, it might be worth us looking at into that in the near future.
So, sorry, through the chair, the Capricorn Highway passing lane, that's been done by Road Tech and Banana Shire Council. So what does Banana Shire Council subcontract to Road Tech or something?
So clarification around that point. So at the time of when we were looking at pre-qualification, the discussions we had with TMR were that the overtaking lanes would be given to Banana. One of the overtaking lanes is in that small little section of Capricorn Highway that Banana is within the Shire, and the other one will be given to Road Tech both through sole invitees. The funding arrangement for those overtaking lanes has stopped that, and they have to be put out to open market. Unfortunately, we're not in a point now to apply for those, to put in a tender for those projects, because we're of the understanding that they were going to be given to those companies, Road Tech and Banana, through sole invitees, but that wasn't the case in the end.
Just to quantify, councillors, we had member Ken O'Reilly in yesterday. These are federally funded, so we suspect that Springfield Tambo with the federal funding involved will be commercial contracts as well. Actually, that's something to note, is that as soon as federal funding is involved, they don't seem to like this idea that local councils and all Road Tech get so inviting jobs. So that's just something to be cognizant of, is we suspect that, this is just me expressing my opinion at this point, that Springfield Tambo works may have to get a commercial. I just thought of that now, given that since it's shared.
And the passing lanes, like Ken did speak about them yesterday, and I thought he mentioned 6.
6.
And these were elections committed from 3 years ago. So are there 6 in this package, or?
Yeah, so 3 locations, one on either side of the road, slightly offset. But yeah, 3
So 3 groups of 3. Misleading, isn't it? And what is the difference there of those 8 councils that do have a pre-qualification? What's R2 and B1 and A3 mean?
Okay, so R refers to road, construction of roads, and B is bridges. And you've probably got me on the A. I think A is asset management. Thank you, Kim. So yeah, different levels are different tender values. So R1 being
2 being
up to
bigger
certain
thresholds,
value
right.
thresholds.
Well, that's interesting. So it's not just as simple as getting a pre-qual doesn't do everything.
Correct.
You just have,
And there's a lot of systems that you need to have in place in the background, which we do have. Those systems, it's just a matter of documentation and providing that evidence to TMR that those systems are ongoing and being managed.
Yeah, I always thought it was a really good idea to be pre-qualified, because, you know, the option's there then, and then, you know, we can be offered work from anywhere. And lots of times, like with the flooding up in the northern area there, I mean, it could be an outside council that we get some work from, which could be good in the coming years. I always thought we should be pre-qualified. In fact, I brought it up quite early in the piece that we should be.
There's ongoing cost, though. Pre-qualification means you also have to be third-party certified or accredited. So there's ongoing maintenance costs. So what Jason has said is right, is if we were not a high likelihood of playing in the commercial field within this region, which is true. Q-Trip doesn't give us any feeling that there's going to be any commercial contracts around for the next 5 years. It's a big cost to incur and maintain, if you like, a few years. I'd say in this instance, the game could change in the next 12 months potentially.
well, it was interesting, our local member yesterday giving an insight into the timeframes around the delivery of that 40 million, and they really seem to be articulating how important it's actually getting this this commenced within 12 months, so I don't know how long it takes to get pre-qualification. Does it take 12 months or?
I think there's secondary politics involved. The process could, I don't know how long it will take, not 12 months, I know, but the politics in this case is the federal government knows it took 3 years to get the crossing lanes that they funded delivered. So the politics could be local government, and that's what I tried to articulate yesterday. Local government, we can do it more efficient and quicker. So I don't know if we can circumvent the funding guidelines from the federal government. We hope we can use some political intervention to see if we can get a slice of the work gratuitously. But I think we have to play that way. There's not enough known about the Rossi funding bucket. I don't think too much money has been actually spent over it. So we'll keep we'll have a watching brief and keep constantly informed where we go.
Thank you, Jason. Right, water utilities.
Through the chair, just a quick update on 3 things from this month. So first one, Nathan Litso applied for and became won a scholarship to go to the Oswater 19 conference in Melbourne this year, which was a new initiative where AWA actually put out bursaries for regional areas to pay for the conference fees, the flight and accommodation. So that was a really good outcome for him. I attended the Water Directorate's Water Skills Partnership meeting at the end of the month, and just some topics there on, it's all about learning and development in the industry. So the Cert 2 and Cert 3 calls are up for review yet again at the moment, and we had some discussion on the biannual workforce composition report, which it goes through things like the trends on ageing workforce and what qualifications people have and gender balances, etc. And on the same couple of days, Gerard and I had our initial stakeholder meetings with DNRME and Sunwater for working on updating our water security plan.
That's it. Council, any questions of Peter while he's on the hot seat, please?
No, just good luck to those people that are going forward. Good to see. Upskilling our staff is really valuable to us.
Yeah, it is.
That's great. All right, who's doing the disaster management stuff? Oh, sorry, Kim. Well, I mean, she was very useful there earlier, so sorry, Kim.
Just a quick update for you, let you know that Bill Wilkinson submitted a grant application under the Bushfires Flexible Funding Grants for a total of $7,000. The gist of it is it's the cost to purchase the probes that will be, if successful, installed as part of the projects that they currently have underway. Just to assist us in monitoring potential bushfires in those areas.
Very good. I think Bill's down in the deep south today.
Sorry?
I think Bill is actually down in the deep south today, just having a look around.
Yeah, he's somewhere where he's phoned somewhere.
No, only for most of the day. I'm sure he's having a lovely time.
We envy sometimes. This is small little initiatives we take where we do get into that space of picking up the opportunities with this type of infrastructure with ours, the same with the UV installation. So yeah, we're quite innovative in that space, and it's only having people or staff that is well connected with BOM and the agencies in Brizzy to pick up on these things.
Yep.
Just a comment. Can I just give that to you, Kim? I'll just do the two DM ones, disaster management, this year, just asked that we raise the Central Queensland University Diploma Program. Nice knowing that there's strong funding, but I'm led to believe this course is quite heavy. It's on the wrong side of $10,000, so it's just there for information. I do want to touch on the very, very positive and good news around one of our volunteers who got a SES award from the Governor General, Karen Peters. I think we tend to get our volunteers doing good work and quite achievers. You see these things happen, and I jumped on it because I saw a credit card payment for Michelle, and I said, how did this get past me? In any case, now I just wanted to share that. I don't know where media is.
Yeah, Tara, I was just.
I believe there's opportunity because this medal, I believe, is emergency services medal is really an achievement for.
It's awesome, and I think that's a great thing to share more publicly. I'm sure Karen.
And you can acknowledge what they do.
Yeah, I'm sure Karen will be seeking that out, but I think it's a
I'll be
wonderful.
trusting the limelight.
That'll be great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Gerard. It's a really good story. Councillors, any questions in relation to that? Just on Kim, that topic that you spoke to, that data, and I know Bill spoke to Councillor Wilson and myself very briefly yesterday, but that data that, you know, these sensors and things, will that be publicly available or just for internal use within BOM to help predict?
I think it's aimed more at BOM and QFES and those sorts of
So, you know,
things.
just warning systems and forecasting and, yeah, you'd be good. All right, no more questions there, councillors? Anyone interested in enrolling in that emergency and disaster management? I think actually there's I noticed there that there's recognised prior learning, so there's a few in this room that probably tick a few boxes.
Just, if we can go back to emergency services, and at our last meeting, we have been talking for about, since the 2010 floods at the latest, about an access for the emergency access into Ralston by boat. Nothing's ever been done, and we get another flood and the creeks out there are silted up even more than they were then. We can't get the boat across. So we need to look at that and make that an urgent priority. It's been on our disaster management list for a long, long time, and that it really needs to be a direct contact from this side of the river to the other. We can go down the main stream to get to the far end, excuse me, but it's the Springshore side. There's too much silt and there's too many trees and everything for the boat to actually access it. And we did a couple of motors in 2010, and I think that it really needs to be done ASAP. I don't know whose agenda it's gone on in the meantime, but it just never seems to get done.
I'll take that on notice. It's a task. We'll have to look into it and bring context back on it because I wasn't aware of it. I'll see. We'll have to poke around internally and see if well, clearly nothing has been done else we would be aware of it.
Yeah.
But if there's a need to establish, it's basically establishing a clear means of getting a boat from Springshore side to Ralston side.
That's right.
In the Currant Creek system, and the Currant Creek system has obviously got its own
It's
space.
the only access they can get, and so it really needs to be done as a matter of urgency because
And I will just add that there have been some desilting works done in and around the Panorama Creek Bridge, but it goes a bit further on.
Yeah,
the
it's a bit more. I know enough about that area. But flat country, so water doesn't go anywhere fast, a lot of trees. So
so yeah, it
Councillor
really
Nixon,
needs to be a clear
that-
path. Talking to Lionel Jackson, you'd find best opportunities.
that item that you just raised there, that probably doesn't directly relate to the report. Maybe we could
General
record that in the
business.
general business today, do you think?
Yeah,
As an
I
action
just thought
item.
that while we're talking emergency
Yeah,
access.
no, good point, but I'm just thinking maybe it's probably,
I can bring it up, yeah, just put in general business if you want.
would you mind? Yeah, let's do that. And in relation to that, infrastructure and utilities departmental update, has someone happen to have received that report? It's a race there, I think, Councillor Daniel, even though you're not well, you've still got the speed today. And second, Councillor Brindlecombe, all in favour? Carried, thank you very much. And councillors, that does bring us to the end of the open session item. We'll raise it again, councillor, in general business. We just have the one item for the closed session today. So just to our live streamers under section 275(1)(e) of the Local Government Regulation 2012, council is permitted to close the meeting to discuss. Today will be procurement exception, engagement, GQI, consulting, radio communications network advisory services. So, councillors, could I have someone move that we go into closed session? Councillor Nixon, second Councillor Brindlecombe.
We're back.
All right, welcome back, live streamers. Just one decision report here on the closed session. And that, I believe, is on the screen before us. And that Central Highlands Regional Council enter into a contract with GQI Consulting Proprietary Limited under Section 235B of the Local Government Regulation 2012. Without first having written quotes or tenders because of the specialised nature of the services that are sought and that it would be inefficient, impractical or disadvantageous to invite quotes or tenders, and further that CHRC is satisfied that GQI Consulting Pty Ltd can deliver value for money, quality work, and have the expertise to carry out and complete the various tasks assigned to them. Let's hope. Councillor, is anyone happy to read that recommendation? Sorry, was you Councillor Nixon?
No.
Who moved that? Councillor Brimble. Seconded, Councillor Roth, all in favour? Carried. So that's all the items there within the agenda. Councillors, that brings us to closed session, and Councillor.
General business.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting excited because we're finishing so early. General business, and Councillor Nixon, I'll refer back to that matter you raised earlier, and that was in relation to the area of emergency services and floodboat accessibility in and around the Comet River and Panorama Creek. So if we could please get our emergency services team to have a look at the accessibility for the SES floodboat in times of need in and around the Comet and Panorama Creek area to support the Ralston Township. In flood situations, and maybe specifically that we need to mention, get a report back if there's any desilting or clearing works that might need to be undertaken. And I'd like to think that that conversation would be had in consultation with the SES group leader Lionel Jackson.
Because of it just been stagnating for years, so we need to get it mobile.
Oh, so that's there, that was raised by Councillor Nixon. Do you want a motion on that, Councillor Nixon, or you?
Yeah, I think so, because
Yes.
I'd move that we take that action to investigate that.
All right. Are you happy with the wording of that, Councillor Nixon? It's pretty broad. And would you like a report back to council? I think it's one thing to.
Well, I think we need to keep it on the boil, so.
Just want to caution that there will be a bit of work in there to get this plan sorted, so I can't make a commitment that will be by the next meeting. So let's investigate first, and
We'll sit there as a resolution till we get action against it and bring it back.
Yeah, look, I think.
I mean,
we've
we've
got
got
a
a
little way.
resolution to keep it going, because I mean, you know, we talk and talk about it, but nothing happens.
And it may be there's minimal works need to be undertaken, if any, or there's a lot doing this, but it's, I think it's important that we do the planning now in the off season.
Well, now's the time to do it, well, not now, it's going to be wet again, but to get all the legalities right now, well, when it dries, enough to do it.
We need to write it in there that.
I can need it dry anyway.
Report come back to council. You happy with that, Councillor Nixon?
Yeah.
As the mover?
Someone
Someone like to
keep
second?
on going.
Someone like to second that? Councillor Daniels, all in favour? So that is carried, look forward to that. Councillors, any other general business today? Councillor Nixon, you?
I was going to just ask about the Willis Creek Road. We've had that announced, but have we got any further information on, is it going to happen, when it's going to happen, or anything? And is that the area where the ratepayers actually said that they would contribute?
Through the chair, councillors, 2 conversations here. I did send something out to the councillors yesterday on the basis of the announcement. It was an election promise. We're not sure whether it's under the Building Better Regions Fund or under what fund, but at the end of the day, we haven't received anything officially in writing, so we need that to know what the guidelines or the conditions say about the funding, whether it's matched or not matched, or is out. The members seem to indicate, don't seem to indicate it's unconstrained, but I'm not necessarily convinced of that. So we first have to secure that. The second part of the conversation was at the time we did the application for funding and we failed at it. Michael Barker was looking and were having discussions with the locals down there about the opportunity of a benefited rate. That piece of work, unfortunately, has not progressed. Now I'm flagged it with my GM across, the new GM across the table, and said I will expect us to look at a possible, if there's additional funding required from council, we will look at a special benefited rate opportunity. And unfortunately, that piece of work hasn't happened, but we would probably still pursue it regardless.
Yeah, I just think that somebody like that group down there or someone must have actually put it on the agenda for the federal election, I should imagine. So I'm just wondering whether, probably through the chair, maybe the mayor could speak with those people down there and find out a little bit more background on it.
Oh, through the chair, look, I think there was actually an approach made by one of the landholders down there. He put actually a proposal to council about and named, I guess you'd say, the majority of landholders in that potentially special rated area. And that was under in the context of there being, at the time, I think, under a Building Better Regions fund, that obviously that amount of money that they would have to find, I guess, to get council interested was substantially larger. This $3 million, I think, out of a total of about 4.2, is now probably more a, what's the correct word? I mean, it's probably more of an approachable amount that the landholders can actually consider, and from council's perspective. So I think it was definitely raised by the Big Bend Association as, I think, a potential Building Better Regions project. So they supported it, and it didn't obviously get up to that stage. So as Gerard rightly points out, the amount of money that was actually announced would have been actually more than what we would have received under a BDR, given that it was would have been 50-50s, but I think it was about 2.
It wasn't exact 50-50 that we asked for. It was a 60-40, but I sent the documents through. Unfortunately, I didn't read it before I sent it through yesterday, but I did share it with them. So we're not sure whether it's what the funding conditions are.
Yeah, but Councillor Nixon, you're raising an important point,
Yeah.
and that is, this was not on the list of council's priorities at election time. So for this to all of a sudden be funded by the minister when our Building Better Regions application went back in 2017.
Yeah,
Someone's resurrected this and someone's presented this to
that's what I'm saying.
the federal member, and I'm picking up on your point strongly. So, if it's been landholder representatives at that particular area, I think it's important, like you've just suggested, that maybe the mayor, understand from the minister.
Just where it came from and what they represent.
And maybe there's.
Were they going to put in $1 million? Yeah, I think we need to ratify things a bit and just find out who pushed it and what,
Probably
what
should
they're
ask.
offering.
Should have asked yesterday, yeah. But at the end of the day, we have nothing in writing, so at this stage, it's weird. But in getting to the benefit rate compensation, part of this benefit rate compensation is not just the local property owners, but there was already issues raised because there was the expansion on the feedlot down there at the end of the road, who's one of the local ratepayers. So the question is also how we rate our feedlots, but that's
And I think that
that
that's
should
where we
be
need to
factored
start
into
talking
that
to them.
conversation as well.
Yeah.
Because the feedlots can do expansion with very little ability from us to get anything out of. Sorry, I mean, this is a again opinion. We're getting very little in terms of our powers under the Planning Act to get them to do additional work when they do expansion, but they bring in feeding, cattling, and taking cattle out, and we have no other ability to leverage any contribution. So the benefit of the rate for local property owners makes sense. Question is, are we using the right rate model for people? That's a second conversation.
Yeah, but
In
I
this
think
instance.
that's probably an action there, councillor, next step again is to, through your department, Gerard, maybe follow up and just, find out a little more about that and, and understand is that work that council will be able to undertake.
A bit more background in it.
So do you want this as general business item, or do we just take it away as a task?
I think we might.
Yeah, I think we need to
So,
find out, because if we
It's
don't
not,
chase it.
not necessarily a motion. Gerard.
Just general business.
Just general business, and it should be recorded as being raised.
Just bring council or
Did Gerard, you apply to bring back to this committee some information in relation to the funding announcement for Wallace Creek Road conditions and.
Chair, he has sent us project costing / budget for this, so it's further to that, isn't it?
Yes, it's further to that.
Yesterday afternoon I said
But
that.
that was from the BB, was that?
That is straight out of the BBR.
Yeah, that's BBR, so I don't know that that's actually exactly what we're doing.
You know, what I'm getting at is the agreement that the land, you know, now.
All right, thank you, councillor. So councillor Rob, thank you. Sorry, general business, have you got any matters? No, all good, councillor Thomas, Mayor Hayes, anything?
Good, Madam Chair, thank you.
All right, no late agenda items. Councillor, well, would you believe at 10:01, thank you for your participation and attendance and enthusiasm.